ASM-Arceus. Today we are getting into another episode of Arceus Plays Pokémon Red. If you haven't noticed, I've already started this video off a little bit different. There's no game noises in this video. I had a few comments that suggested I do just that because the game noises were rather distracting. So we are going to enjoy this episode without any of those game noises. Before we get too far into it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, maybe subscribing or watching another video, supporting the channel any way you can, I'd really appreciate it. So last time, I believe that we finished up this grass area here. I don't know if we beat all the trainers or got to the end. I honestly don't remember because, as usual, it's been a good amount of time. And for that, I apologize. We kind of hit an electrical issue here in the apartment. Summer came, and I don't know if it's just the draw on the electrical, but one of the outlets, I should say a couple of the outlets in the house, but one of the outlets in the kids' room has become rather useless and kept flipping the breaker, so flipping, tripping, whatever you want to say. We had to avoid and close off that outlet, which led to me setting up a cooling system in the kitchen instead, which is where I record. So that kind of cut into my routine and setup. But I can't have the kids roasting in their room when it's 90 degrees, you know. Luckily, I found a way, and I shouldn't say I should say we, because I don't do anything by myself. My better half is just that, she's my better half. And we found a way of mounting some extension cords so that we could avoid that outlet and still get everything plugged in for the kids. So now I am finally back to having my kitchen workspace, but being that it is now summer, we have all kinds of weirdos in the alley, and the birds are going nuts, and there's planes landing every 5 to 10 minutes. So I've already tried to record this voiceover, I think 6 or 7 times this morning, which is tough because I don't have a lot of time. So spending 15-20 minutes on a voiceover that I end up erasing is kind of terrible, but quality over quantity, right? And hopefully I can deliver on the quality. So if you didn't catch it, I just ran over into that grass area and updated my memory of where we were. We cannot get out that way because you have the Snorlax blocking the path. So we have to get to Lavender Town. I think it was Lavender Town via the Diglett's Cave or tunnel or whatever you prefer to call it. I think of it more as a tunnel because it's not really that big. It's actually rather short. because I'm coming up on it. I think, I'm not positive, I think this will be video number 98. And I was planning on doing maybe one more unboxing before starting work on something special for my 100th video. Obviously that's not including shorts. My shorts don't really count. So I'm thinking maybe I step in front of the camera for the first time and you guys get to see what Arceus actually looks like. Not that that's a big deal, but it would be rather cool and a big change to the way that I shoot my videos. Again, though, it comes down to basic time restraints and spatial restraints. The fact that I have such a small workspace and a very limited amount of time to do that work in. I have some really cool ideas for role plays and really cool execution methods, and I've always been really good at writing, so I'm not really too worried about script. What I am worried about, though, is when things like today happen. Reshooting and having to take multiple takes over and over and over and over, and as you can see recently it's become very difficult for me to put out videos. My daughter is getting older. She's waking up earlier in the morning, going to bed later, and like I said, it's summer, so the noises are all out. I've been trying to train myself to get up even earlier, but it's such a struggle. After having 3 or 4 hours of on and off sleep total, I don't go to sleep at 1 and then wake up at 4, but I'll usually lay down around 10 and then, spend 20 minutes or so falling asleep. But then I wake up, oh man, at least 10, 12 times in the night. Especially because when my daughter makes noises, I'm super alert and I can't help but I have to look, I gotta know, so I wake up to every little thing as well. So it's not quality sleep, and I'm exhausted usually when I wake up at 4. So I can't lie, I've been hitting that snooze button like it's nobody's business. I've been up somewhere around 4:30 to 5:30, and that's just not gonna work for production purposes. There's too much going on after 6 a.m. Between nature and humans and, the household. But it is what it is, and I'm going to do my very best to alter my methods as necessary so that I can continue to produce. Hopefully you guys will stick with me, and I really appreciate you guys who have. Again, if you're a big fan of the content, please like the video. I really need that help. Comments are very much appreciated. I reply to every comment. I enjoy having conversations with you guys, and I enjoy your input. So don't be afraid to be social. Also, I'm wondering what I should open for my next video because, as I've discussed, I do have a few items left in my collection, but they're not rather expensive items because they weren't when I purchased them, but they're getting expensive now. And I don't know that I really want to open them, but I'm starting those are the few that I'm going between in my head as to which ones I would unbox. Obviously, my better half, who is much smarter than I when it comes to these type of things, she's like, no, don't open them. They're too expensive. Just do something else. And I very well could. You know, I can make another drawing video or go back to the Legos or continue doing more Let's Plays. But, I know what you guys really want, and, I mean, that's ultimately what I want too. So much so that I've been going over in my head, maybe, now bear with me on this and tell me what you think, maybe going back to some of my older unboxings from when I first started, and I didn't do any talking at all. They do have, like, I guess, subtitles. I wouldn't say subtitles because it's not, you know, telling me or telling you every word that I'm saying, because I'm not really saying anything, but it's just randomly strewn about thoughts. And if you've ever watched any of my early unboxings, you know what I'm talking about, but I was thinking maybe of downloading those and voicing them over. That would give me maybe, I don't know, 15. I think it was 15 or 20. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a little bit less, like 10 or 12. But that would give me like maybe 10 guaranteed projects that I'd be able to work on without actually having to unbox anything new. But on my end, it just kind of feels like cheating. You know, it's kind of like a cheap version of an upload. It's like when your favorite ASM artist does a reload and they're like uploading a video from many years ago that was successful, and you know, they just don't have anything to give you right this moment. Some people can do that, you know. There's a few channels that I follow, and I hesitate to name drop anybody because I don't, you know, I'm not a clout chaser. I don't want to use anybody to help my success. But I've talked about Fred because he is an absolute inspiration for my channel. But, you know, there's other channels out there that have different method. If you're not familiar with Lloyd's ASMR, you should be. Lloyd is another great ASM artist, and he wasn't really given the best hand, you know. He's dealing with a lot of stuff, and I feel for the guy. I really wish I could do more to help him out other than to watch his videos, like his videos, and, you know, mention him here, but nobody's really here to help him. But people like Lloyd, you know, they don't come around very often. He's a very genuine guy, and you can see it in his work. But he faces a lot of health issues, so he often will record videos and save them and then put them out later on, which is an amazing idea. But I've seen him do a couple re-uploads, and for somebody like that, I feel like that's acceptable. I don't think that that's cheating. I think that that's okay, especially when you're doing it as a means of taking care of yourself. Like, the man really can't work, this has not been a rather exciting episode. It's been actually pretty boring when it comes to the gameplay. But we're really far behind on Pokemon types, so I do have room for more, which was smart of me. I hate transferring, and sometimes I feel like we find a really cool Pokemon out here, and then I transfer it, and I really want it in my party. So I have to go back and get it, and which one do I get rid of, and blah blah blah. So we're just getting rid of all that, and keeping a space for the next one. I'm pretty sure I beat all these people and got all this shit, so let's just go ahead and head to the S.S.Anne. I've been avoiding going to the boat because I don't want to get on and then lose my ticket, you know? Sorry. I heard somebody in the alley. We get some people that go through our trash in the mornings too. It's, you know, I don't want to say anything bad because, you know, people suffer and a lot of people are hurting right now, but a lot of these people aren't those people, you know? They're not a victim of circumstance, sadly. A lot of these people in this area are addicts, and before we get into the giant discussion of, you know, well, addiction's a disease and all this stuff, which we really don't have to, in the end, I don't find it to be the same as the veterans who have served the country, ended up with injuries and mental disabilities from circa. Oh, hey, a great ball. Yeah, that's a random break to such a serious conversation, but yeah, I just found a great ball in the trash can. So yeah, I don't find that I should treat the addicts the same as the homeless veterans. I feel like somebody who sustained injuries fighting for this country and then was put on medication that they then got addicted to is the same as somebody who just randomly made the decision to be stupid and get addicted to some dumbass drug that everybody tells you not to do, that you see people dying from all the time on the daily. So if you're still willing to make those decisions, then, you know, I don't feel bad for you. Stay out of my trash can. But as for the truly, you know, downtrodden and the ones that are in just such awful situations that they were never able to recover, those are the ones I empathize for. Mainly the veterans, because the term homeless veteran should not exist, in my opinion. That is just an absolute atrocity. But, you know, it is what it is, and you can only do so much. But back to the S.S.Anne. I just walked in this room, and as soon as I walked through the door, this chick just, like, jumped to battle, so let's see what she's got. Shout out to my Pidgeotto, by the way, because he's been carrying the team for a while now. Charmeleon is like the poster child for my team, but keeps getting smacked up by randos. Meanwhile, Pidgeotto is just, you know, flying above it all and blowing all the enemies away. Lass. Everybody's a lad and a lass. So we're gonna make our way through these rooms, see what items are inside, and hopefully wrap up this session with some good battles. I have enjoyed having my Drowsy. I was always a fan of Drowsy as a kid, pendulum always got me. I thought that that was super cool. I would love to know what you guys' favorite Pokemon from childhood is, and if that still carried on to your adult life. Because I still have some from my childhood that still have special spots, you know. I've always been a Mewtwo fan, but who isn't? I've always liked Giratina, but, you know, who doesn't? I'm talking about, like, just ordinary, everyday Pokemon. Like, me, I love Cubone. Me and Cubone have a lot in common. I like Psyduck a lot. When I was a kid, I used to keep my Psyduck from evolving, and I think I've gone through this story before, but if you haven't been here, we'll do it again. I would purposely keep my Psyduck from evolving so that I could wipe people out with a Psyduck, and it would make them so angry. And I just thought it was hilarious. Just move this Drowsy to the front so that I can get him some guaranteed experience every time. But yeah, those are the childhood favorites, you know, the everyday Pokemon that you just really like. Obviously, everybody was a big Pikachu fan. Some people were all about the starters, but let me know in the comment section what your favorite Pokemon was or is. Alright, we're making our way through these battles pretty easily, I'd say. It hasn't really been anything challenging. Starting to think maybe I went around the process. A lot of times in these games they put things in order for you. So like, if they give you the ticket, you're supposed to board the boat ASAP. Maybe level up a little bit along the way, but don't put it off and go ahead and then come back. But somebody like me, I'm always, I wouldn't say scared to move on to the next level, but cautious to move up to the next level until I know I have enough, I guess, power to do so. I don't like being completely outclassed. I don't mind being beaten. Being beaten isn't, you know, you learn from being beaten, but when you walk in and you're just, you know, totally outclassed and you know it, one Pokemon wipes out your entire team because you are just not ready. Those are the type of things that I try to avoid. But I feel like I might have gone a little far ahead, and the battles on the S.S.Anne so far have not been challenging, but again, we're just starting, so I'm sure there'll be more to be found. For now, though, we're going to wipe these people out and see what kind of items we can find. Normally you would, I can't say normally because I'm running on memory here, but I could have swore that there was a lot more items and a lot more things to do on the S.S.Anne, like battle-wise and milestone-wise. I could be wrong though. Like I said, I haven't replayed Red since I beat it the first time. So my memory is absolutely shot when it comes to this. There's a lot that still feels like I'm experiencing it for the first time, which is really cool actually. Yeah. Sometimes I think about getting the color edition of this, but I think the black and white has really added to the nostalgia. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll do another Let's Pokemon Pinball on there. I got another one, and I got one for a Nintendo 64 emulator too. I think it was Pokemon Stadium. But again, I hadn't played that a super lot when I was younger, so I'm not too familiar with how that game works. Maybe you guys could help me out and guide me through it if I started up another one. Alright, looks like we're halfway through here, and I'm poisoned, so we're gonna go heal up, because one thing I cannot stand is this constantly blinking screen here. Oh god, I hate that. It's like a stroke-inducing strobe light. Alright, not Miss Joy. Heal up my Pokemon, please, so I can get back on the boat. Alright. I was gonna go take another Pokemon, but probably not the best idea. I still have to keep room. Oops. Oops. Man, I'm not doing good navigationally. Yep. I know. Here's my ticket, man. Let me on the boat. They should just stamp my hand or some shit. Alright, here we go. That guy's just got pissed off written on his face. Here we go. Travel alone on my journey. My Pokemon are my only friends. Well, my man, you're a little too old to be only friends with two Pokemon. I love that picture of Growlithe, by the way. I think I've already said that as well, but that's a really cool picture. Nice. Switch this out. Now, I think that the S.S.Anne takes off and takes us to a different city, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not sure if we have to beat everything on here first, or what the deal with that is, so I'm absolutely clueless as to what my next Let's Play will entail. Hopefully we can add some more powerful Pokemon to my team, because I feel like I've just been bouncing between Charmeleon and Pidgeotto. Makes me wonder, like, was it always this big of a struggle? I feel like it wasn't this big of a struggle when I was a kid. But then again, I don't really spend any time power leveling either, which is something I might do. What do you guys think? Do you think that maybe I should spend some time off production doing some power leveling and then coming back to the same spot stronger for you guys? Or should I just do the whole thing right on episode after episode, leveling up? I just feel like that might be a little boring, but let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching, and until the next